In this 7-minute curriculum video, we're going to be discussing working with time in Priority Matrix. We can all agree that time is pretty important, but depending on your situation, you may look at it a little differently. For example, maybe you think most about due dates or when to do dates. Or maybe you are more interested in estimating the amount of time or effort that you must spend on a task or project. Alternately, you may need to track how much time you actually spent on that task or project. Finally, maybe you are more concerned with recurring tasks that must be done like clockwork every day, week, month, or year. Or maybe you have to think about a combination of all of these. Either way, Priority Matrix can help you protect and manage your time in many different ways. So let's talk about this. Now let's talk about setting hard and soft deadlines. To add a due date, simply select the item you want to add a due date to, click here, and choose the date and time. Or you can simply select the item and type the due date. Now, if you just want to add a soft deadline to remind yourself around when something should be done, feel free to add the date here as well. However, I do suggest adding the tags hard deadline and soft deadline to differentiate. Then you can actually filter by hard or soft deadline. Now, depending on your situation, there are two other ways that you can deal with these time constraints. You can always add a start and end date or time, or you can simply keep a simple due date, but set a reminder for yourself for when to start working on it. Now let's talk about estimating how much time a task or project should take. Depending on why you need to estimate the effort of your tasks, there are two different things that you can do. For example, if you simply need to look at the number of days all in all that it's going to take, the start and end date work perfectly here. It doesn't matter how many other projects you're working on, you simply know that it's going to take from this date to that day. You add the start and end date, and then you can actually go to the calendar view and see the full span of how long it's going to take. However, if you're more interested in looking at not necessarily how many days it's going to take, but how many hours or minutes a task is going to take of your complete focus, this is where you can go to the effort bar. You can slide it between less than an hour to 1 month, or if you need to be more specific, you can actually say exactly how many minutes, hours, or days this is going to take. And that will actually be tallied up very precisely if you go to the reports and the effort heat maps. Now let's address tracking the time that you actually spent on a task or a project. Now, if you want to track how much time something took, of course the effort bar is a perfect place to do this. Even if you estimated that it was going to take 24 minutes, if you add that it took 2 hours, don't worry, that initial 24-minute estimate is saved in the history. This way you can add the effort hours but keep what you previously thought. And then actually, comparing the 24 minutes to the 2 hours is great in terms of process improvement because you can look and see what you didn't consider, and then maybe you can estimate a little bit more accurately next time. And finally, let's talk about recurring tasks and deadlines. Now, say you have recurring tasks. All you have to do is create one task, add the next due date, and set how often it repeats. Then, when you mark this task complete, the next one in the sequence will pop up. This will prevent you from having to create 52 different tasks for a weekly report. Now here's one very important thing that I want you to keep in mind as you work with time in Priority Matrix. Now, one of the best things about using due dates and effort in Priority Matrix is that it can help you filter and sort better. For example, let's go to our master view. We have a lot of different tasks here from all our different projects. In the same way that we can filter down to owner or by tag, we can also filter by effort or by due date. So right now we've decided to sort by the most effort. This means that this task is going to take the most time. Or we can sort by due date, or we can even limit our tasks only to items that are due in the next 5 days. So as you can see, this is a great way to help you visually prioritize. Now let's quickly review the concepts. No matter whether or not your deadlines are firm, it's a good idea to set them down. You can also set both start and end times as well as reminders. You can easily estimate or track time in the effort bar. You can add details like this by typing conversation commands. Recurring tasks can save you a lot of time. Due dates and effort are tracked precisely in reports and also make it easier to sort and filter everything in Priority Matrix. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful.